Hello everyone, I'm Azaleen, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do our review of an MMORPG called Embers Adrift. To give you a short idea of what it is, Embers Adrift is a MMORPG created by a indie developer studio that's kind of inspired by the old school MMORPGs of back in the day. It's not your average modern MMORPG with fast leveling and all that kind of stuff. This is more about the journey, about the people you meet along the way, the questing. So it's a more slow-paced game, if you will. So for the sake of the video, we created a trial account, so we actually know what the limits are if you're trying this out. So let's do the first step and let's create our character, shall we? So the first thing you notice, let me get rid of the camera for the character creation real quick. The first thing you notice is there's not really a class selection, but there's a role selection. You have your DPS, your support, and your tank. And the reason for this is because your actual class is something you pick later on in the game. If you've played, if you're old like me, and you played Ragnarok Online back in the day, it's kind of like that. But this is a little bit more basic. If you remember, in Ragnarok Online, you started out as a novice, and later on you selected your job. This is kind of the same idea. So you check either DPS, support, or tank. For this one, we're going to create a tank. So at the very top, you have your male-female options. You have these little shapes, and these shapes, they're basically your body shape. So you have several body shapes. For a tank, we want a big, bulky man, right? So next up, you have your hairstyles. Your hairstyle is actually divided in 3 parts: your top, your side, and your back. So let's see. Let's make a little bit of a cringe emo kind of tank. Give him black hair because we're emo. We hate life. Everything is bad. Let's have a look. Let's give him a nice beard as well. Give him a little bit darker skin. Over here on the right with visual samples, you can see what it's like if you're clothed and when you're geared. And this is actually like very representative of what the gear kind of looks like. It's Embers Adrift is not your typical MMORPG with magic and like being fully plated, armored, and everything like that. You're literally an adventurer. You're just a regular person going on an adventure. You're not a hero. You're not a champion. You're not the chosen one or whatever. So let's name it as tank, and let's create our character. So our character is created at the fire, at the little ember. So let's enter the world. So as it's loading us in, you kind of see like the nice views this game has to offer. So this is where we end up when we log in. We get welcomed, which is very nice. It's very nice of them to welcome us to their world. So one thing you kind of notice is, like, normally when you play an MMORPG, the classic thing that you get is an NPC with a big exclamation mark that guides you through the game. This game doesn't hold your hand that much. You have to figure stuff out on your own. And the first thing you're gonna have to figure out is that this guy will actually guide you a little bit. if you talk to him. But if you don't talk to him, he's not going to help you. So here you can have you can ask him certain questions, like we noticed we lost a little bit of our health, so how can we heal our wounds? So normally rest, you can recover, but a better way to recover is the Ember Rings. And the Ember Rings is something we'll go over shortly. Because we're actually going to find one right now. So we have one quest over here now. And we either need to visit an Ember Ring at the camp or talk to Rhonda. So Rhonda's over here. So she's the first that we see, so let's talk to her. Yeah, I feel great. Yeah, we could use a few combat exercises, I guess. Start taking on battle dummy. Okay. Approach the dummies. Hit the dummy. Sure. Good job. We've done something. We get a reward. We get health potions. It's all great. So we arrived at our first little settlement. This thing over here, it's called an Ember Ring. It's kind of like for me personally, it reminds me of the Dark Souls bonfires, but it's kind of like it's like a waypoint, so to speak. I think the best way to compare it is like a little waypoint. So you can sit at the Ember Ring, and it's going to heal you back up to full slowly. And now we're full HP. So another thing you might notice when you look at your map, the map is not pre-explored. That is not really something new, but that we're used to that. But one thing you might notice is we don't have a marker that shows where we are. We don't have a little arrow pointing where we are right now. And that's one of the unique things about this game. Because it's not holding your hand as much, it doesn't show you magically where you are. It's kind of like, I think it gives a realistic kind of vibe of you pulling up a map. If you pull up a map in real life, it's not going to magically show you where you are on the map. You'll have to figure it out. So the way you figure this out is landmarks. So we have a big tower over here, and there's the Ember Ring. So if we look at the map, based on what we have explored, we are right over here in Drifter's Landing, right? So in this position, it's gonna be easy. But once you adventure further into the world, you're not gonna have an easy time figuring out where you are. Like, for example, in this right part with all the trees, it's not going to be obvious where you exactly are. There is only one thing that is always there to guide us. And that's this big, large blue planet, I would say. And this planet is always visible, and it's always at the north. So if we point that way, we're looking at the north. So that's kind of how you can figure out if you really don't know where you are. Look for this blue orb in the sky, and you know that's the path north. So that gives you a little bit of guidance. So another thing that makes Embers Adrift the game it is, it's very centered around being social with other players, grouping up, doing group content. but it's not required to do it in a group. You can play the game solo if you want to, but there are going to be certain things that you're not going to be able to do on your own. You're going to have to like infiltrate certain camps or go into certain dungeons and get something back from there, and you cannot do that on your own. You're gonna have a hard time. And another thing that is a very nice thing that they have is you see these enemies over here. They have like a little chevron over there that indicates how difficult the fight is going to be for you. So a single chevron is going to tell you that it's going to be good for one player to take that encounter. You're most likely going to end up on top if you fight that NPC. If you have a enemy with 2 chevrons, it means it's designed for 2 or 3 players. So it's a more difficult challenge. You're most likely not going to kill it on your own. But once you progress a bit farther into the game, there are going to be situations where you're strong enough to take down 2 chevron enemies on your own. But that's when you're further into the game. Right now, even 2 1 chevron monsters are gonna overwhelm us pretty much. You can't go around and pull everything and try to AoE them down or anything. It's going to do so much damage on you, even though they're low-level creatures. So you really have to be careful with how you approach each fight. So to give you an idea of what the combat is like, it's basically like this. It's not very fast combat. As you can see, we have about 3 seconds delay between each auto attack, and that's based on our weapon. We have we start off with 2 abilities to help us do a little bit more damage, and as you level up, you gain access to more abilities, of course. So that's going to be what the combat kind of looks like. As you can see, like it took like 20 HP of us to fight that one enemy. It's gonna slowly recover, but if you want to recover quickly, you go to your Ember ring over here. It's gonna recover you pretty fast. There we go. We're back on full. And another thing is, as we mentioned, we don't have quest markers. So you actually have to like talk to random people to figure out if they have a quest for you. And it gives you the kind of like an immersion kind of feeling to have to actually talk to NPCs. And I would suggest to actually read all the quest text, because there's a lot of lore that's being written within those quest texts, and it's actually really impressive. Their writing team does a really good job at this. So let's have a look. So here he tells us that he needs some help, and he says it's a mutually beneficial arrangement if we're interested. So here he starts explaining he's in charge of the camp, and he's being kind of attacked by local enemies every now and then. They're causing problems, and we need to sharpen our skills as well and get our blood moving. And he's asking us to kill 12 animals, which is 12, by the way. And if we do that for him, he'll let us have something from his personal stock to help us on our way. So sure, we'll do that. And now, as you can see, we started a quest. Your quest is always going to be available in your log. You have your active quests, you have your completed quests. Your completed quests, like, as you can see, it gives you a little small summary of what you've done on that quest to complete it. So here it says, approve myself to Rhonda, and she sent me on my way. She was kind enough to provide me with some rejuvenating tinctures for my travels, which she did. So we showed her we can fight a dummy. She gave us 10 healing potions as a reward and sent us on our way to our first camp. Now this is the quest we picked up. As you can see, kill forest beasts, 0 out of 12. We have to kill 12 beasts in order to complete the quest. And here you have like a little story of what led up to this point. I met a veteran of the land who offered to help me get acquainted with my new surroundings. The first lesson he gave me is that strength must be earned through combat. He tasked me with slaying the nearby beasts to train. So it gives you a bit of a story to go with it. So we're not actually going to do the entire quest because it's going to take up a bit of time. We're actually going to look at something else. We also have over here, we have our harvesting trainer. And your harvesting trainer is going to give you one of 3 professions. I call them professions personally. He has forestry, prospecting, and hunting. So these names might be kind of vague to some people. Hunting is basically skinning animals. So when you kill an animal, you can skin them for resources. Prospecting is basically your mining. You can mine rocks for ores. And forestry is your wood cutting. You can cut logs to get small logs that you can turn into other stuff. So let us go with hunting. So as you can see here, it's a bit more clear what everything is with the pictures and everything like that. So let's go with hunter. So it's telling us to harvest something. Now this is actually something we can do. It won't take a long time. We just have to kill something and skin it. But before we can we have to equip our skinning knife, of course. So let's kill this young buck over here, right? It's a 1 chevron, so we can easily take him out. Shouldn't be a problem at all for us. There we go. First we loot it. There's nothing there. And then we can skin it. Takes a little bit of time. And then we get a tethered carcass part. Unfortunately, I don't think that is the thing that we actually needed, because we need a coarse lean carcass part. So let's try again. Let's kill something else. Of course, it's not gonna give us the exact thing the first time as we try it out. There we go. Kill the little quillback. It's actually kind of like a little bunny. We're killing bunnies, guys. Let's try again, see if we get what we need. In the meantime, we're also getting progress for our quest to kill stuff. A coarse lean carcass part. Nice. That's what we needed for our quest. So we're gonna have to return to the guy that gave us the quest. And I remember he was in that little village over there. So let's talk to him. Will these suffice? Then he's gonna ask, which profession did we pick? So we picked hunter. We field dress the critter and gathers its carcass. I'll make you a coarse lean leather from it. Okay, I'll refine the carcass for you. Now over here you have your crafting station. We'll make a lean leather out of it. Unfortunately, that didn't work. So you're gonna have to try again. It's not always guaranteed that everything works perfectly. So now that we've seen a bit like how the game plays, how it works, what the kind of features are in this game, let's break it down and see if this is a game that you should play or not. So one simple thing I would say, if you enjoy the classic MMORPGs, if you enjoy taking a longer time to level up, making it matter when you get a level, making it matter when you get a new item, those kind of things are very prominent in this game. If that's something you enjoy, absolutely play this game. If you're a player that really enjoys group content in MMORPGs, also definitely try this game out. It's an absolute blast to do group content with these people, and the community is very, very welcoming. They're very nice. They will call out in world chat if they need people for groups. You have a group finder as well. So over here you can say, "Oh, I'm looking for a group." You have of course the option to create guilds, to make friends. So I think for people that like social MMORPGs that are built around group content, that have really that classic MMO feeling, those are the people that should absolutely try out this game. If you're someone that is more of a modern MMORPG player that wants to rush to max level, do end game content, it might not exactly be for you, but I would say try it out. It might be a little bit slow at first, but as someone that's I'm actually a retail WoW player. I'm someone that does end game content. I push the max level as fast as I can, and I'm enjoying this game. So definitely give it a try and see if you like it. You can try the game out for free. The link will be in the description down below. You don't have to pay anything, and you can just experience the first zone and the city absolutely for free. You can do group content in the first zone. You can do all the quests you want. You are going to be limited to creating one character, but as you're testing it out, that doesn't really matter. If you're checking this video out the day it gets released or the weekend it's released, they currently have a sale going on for where you can buy the game for 50% off at a price of $20 right now, which is not a whole lot. If you buy the game, you get access to the entire game. You are still limited to creating one character if you have bought the game, but if you have a active monthly subscription, it goes up to 5 characters that you can create. The subscription is not necessary in order to play the game, but it will give you extra benefits and expanded storages, stuff like that. So it's suggested to do it because you're not only going to get more stuff out of the game, but you're also directly supporting these amazing developers in developing the game further and further and doing the amazing job that they're doing. So there is also not a in-game store as far as I've seen. So there's no predatory monetization going on like you see in most MMORPGs these days. It's literally you buy the game and you can support them by buying a subscription. And that's pretty much it. So it's a really fair and honest monetization system that doesn't affect your character power or anything like that. And that's something that I really, really appreciate from the people at Stormhaven Studios. They don't curse the game with bad monetization. They're very, very fair about it. And while you're trying out the game, if you're getting the feeling that you like it, I would highly suggest to join the Discord as well. The link to their Discord is on their website. And you get the chance to talk to everyone, including the devs. You can give them feedback directly. You can ask them questions in community meetings. They are very open to talk to you, and they want to know how your experience is with the game. They're really involved in this game. They play the game themselves, so they know what effect their changes have on the game because they experience it themselves. They don't sit there on a max level GM character or anything. They actually progress through the game with players. They play with players. They go on adventures with players. It's really amazing to see this. Most MMORPGs these days, they don't even have active GMs in game anymore. They just have their help desk going through like a list of how to answer questions. They don't have these active GMs in the game. And Embers Adrift does have this. And that's what makes you feel like you're being valued as a player. And they want to make the game as good as they can to ensure you have a great time playing this game. So I would say, please do check out this game. It's a really amazing game for a small indie dev studio, and definitely check it out. Give it an honest try, and I'm pretty sure you will love the game just as I do, and you'll keep on playing it. And maybe we'll run into each other in game. It's one big server, so it's not spread across regions. And well, I wish you all the best in your adventures in Embers Adrift, and I hope I will see you there sometime soon. Peace out.